So this is the last 7-week series I'll be doing. I'm not retiring. I'm going to shift to 12-week series so that I can even better align with the seasons. So the one after this will start on February 4th, which is start of spring in Chinese calendar, and we'll be doing springtime stuff. But it kind of worked out really well to have this seven. I'm going to talk about the series, and then, of course, we will move into a practice. This isn't a sales pitch for those of you who are new. But what I didn't realize about this 7 weeks is that with taking days off or weeks off because of the holidays, we have 3 classes before the solstice, and then we have the 31st of December, and then we have 3 classes after. So the start of winter was actually November 7th. So we're already in winter in the Taoist seasons. And then the solstice is kind of right in the center. In the West, we often think of the solstices and the equinoxes as being the beginnings. No, in Tao, they're right in the middle. And yeah, so let me talk a little bit about the seasons in Taoism. Tao is called the way of nature, right? So the kind of the unavoidable, one of the unavoidable aspects of nature is the changes that happen throughout the year, at least for most of us who are not equatorial. And why that matters is energy moves differently at those different seasons. Qigong is called Qigong because we're working with Qi. If it was the Japanese, they don't call it language, they call it dialect or pronunciation. It would be Qi. For our purposes tonight, it's virtually the same. Can get nuanced, but so energy or Qi acts differently depending on which of the 5 elements it's manifesting. And each season manifests 4 of those 5 elements. The earth element is, or the soil element, is always different because we live our whole lives on the earth, on the soil. And the energetic movement of earth is stability. So as you can imagine, something, a planet, weather, energy changing from, say, the metal of autumn into the water of winter. I say it in a few words, but that's huge. I mean, that's very disrupted and fundamentally transforming. So the earth energy, the soil stability kind of arises to hold us as we go through these transitions. So winter is water, spring is wood, wood being, yeah, it's our furniture, but it's also all the plant kin on the planet, whether it's blades of grass or 1,000-year-old trees. From wood, we move into summer, which is fire, and the sun being so close up here, uh, the heat, the light is the element of fire. From there, we move into the metal element. So from fire to metal, from summer to autumn. And metal isn't just, the refined metal we use day to day. It's the ore in the earth. It's the mountains where let's call it earth and manifestation of metal. And then we're back again to winter. Reminding, if you've heard me say this many times before, that this order is essential and important because one begets the other, or one feeds and nourishes and oversees the transformation into the other. Winter, water fuels wood, it nourishes wood. So that's a very easy one to remember. Wood fuels fire, also easy. Sometimes people get tripped up from fire to, so in the generative cycle, we have earth next. It's actually ash. And from ash, as it collects and condenses and solidifies, turns into metal. And the metaphor that I find most inspiring between metal and water is the mountain greets the water-filled cloud, and the cloud releases its water. So lots of attributes and information and beautiful imagery about each of those elements. We're sticking with winter and water. Another thing to know, especially important with water, is the element isn't shining during its season. It is most challenged. Water in the middle of winter can be ice, snow, slush, water, liquid, fog, rain, all in one day if it's a crazy day. An element changing form so much is very challenging. So we need to support our water in winter. What's the factoid that we're 60 to 70% water? So our bodies are challenged on that cellular, molecular level, even if we're not paying attention. Excuse me. So one of the things to remember, whether you stay with me for the next 7 weeks or I never see you again, is winter is a time of rest and conservation and gestation. We follow nature, right? Deciduous trees drop their leaves, they release their leaves in the autumn because leaves are so powerful for nourishing them, but they also require a lot of energy and effort. So for a tree to turn inward and go down into its roots to grow the next season, the next year, not using those leaves, they are not taxation, but they're drawing the chi away and might inhibit their survival. So they drop. Ideally, we would have spent summer and autumn really nourishing ourselves, gathering chi, working with our chi body to really kind of soak up life force energy and already be shifting into this period of rest. Maybe, maybe we didn't. So we're going to cut ourselves a break. The 3 weeks before the solstice, we are going to do chi gathering practice. And then on the 31st of December, the midway point in the series and the end of the year, we're going to have a special class, which will be about releasing. We may even do a little visioning for 2024, but it will be kind of a shift right in the center. And then after that class, we are going to really focus on, well, how do you conserve? How do you rest without staying in bed all day? Because that's not actually, from a Qigong point of view, that's not that great for you. So, yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say about the cadence of the series. Tonight, we're going to do a Qigong set that is really nice and complete. And as I must have posted or written in the emails, I will post this video so you can return to it to do that practice. follow along. You don't have to memorize it. And then instead of introducing the mystical warrior Qigong, which I'll show you some photographs of, we're going to spend the last part of the class with the microcosmic orbit. I twisted my knee, so I don't want to do the mystical warrior until I have another week or so for that healing. However, the first set is going to be, I think, rich and complete in itself. And basically, when I approach my practice, I will have these little collections. So the collection we're going to do, which will bring in chi, which will actually, I want to teach you a little bit about conserving chi. Then we're going to clear out stale chi, and then we're going to bring in chi. And with the microcosmic orbit, we refine it and align it with our system so we can actually use the chi, not just kind of let it fall out afterward. I lost my train of thought, but I wouldn't necessarily do the mystical warrior qigong with this set we're going to do first. I would do that separately. I would do this set and then do my other stuff. So rule of thumb is anywhere between 15 minutes. And if you're really working on something, if you're trying to heal something, it can go as long as an hour. But the idea of a 2-3 hour practice, it's inefficient. One of the things I love most about Qigong and Tao is it's extremely esoteric and absolutely practical altogether. Before I stand you up, any questions about what I threw at you? Know that I've just kind of given you the very general view of these things, and I will give more nuance and detail as the weeks go on. Okay. I have to take my sip of tea, which is how long you have to ask a question. Reviewing for those who are returning, new for a couple of you. This is possibly the most helpful practice you'll learn tonight or you'll review tonight, and it's called perineum breathing. The perineum is that mound, it seems like a little mound of muscle at the absolute bottom of your torso between your sex organs and your anus. Let's stand up. Actually, if you're experienced in perineum breathing, I'd like you to try it sitting down because that will expand your opportunities for practicing it in daily life. But it's a little tricky because you're actually sitting on your perineum. So you have to be able to separate out the sensation of the pressure from this very subtle breath. That said, if you want to stand, even if you know it really well, of course, stand. So stand well. Perineum breathing is not a sacred practice that you have to set yourself up in a quiet space separate from life. You can do this any time. It is meant to care for and strengthen your chi body, which is absolutely essential if you're going to have a nice long life and lots of time to practice. Standing well is feet are about shoulder width apart and your feet are parallel. You unlock your knees, and that can shift your pelvis a tiny bit forward. So we're not curling like in Kung Fu. We just want our tailbone, the end of our tailbone, to point to the earth. Close your eyes and peruse your body. See if you're holding anywhere, or perhaps you have a habit of keeping too much tension in your shoulders or in your jaw. Try gently to remind yourself to relax them. And be kind to yourself. Judge, don't get frustrated. Just a little reminder And then very subtle, tucking your chin because we want our crown center to point up to heaven, the source of yang qi, earth, the source of yin qi. And the crown is straight up from the ears and then straight up from the forehead point or the third eye where they come together. Top of your skull is that porosity. And once you feel like you're standing good enough, collect your attention in, on, around your perineum. Smile into your perineum. We have porosities for energy coming in and escaping all over our body. The microcosmic orbit has points all along it. Palms are extremely porous, as are the soles of our. We can bring attention, control this. We can control the soles of our feet, but the one that escapes our attention most often is the perineum, and we will leak chi. We do not want to do this. It's so wasteful, and it can lead, actually, it's really bad, to fatigue and a loss of immunity. So first, start by smiling into your perineum. So important, right? We want to befriend it. We want to love it. Let's begin with the version of perineum breathing where we inhale and we open our perineum. We exhale and we very gently squeeze it. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. The squeeze is not muscular, and I'm intentionally not giving you a lot of information. Has a learning curve. We want to transfer from whatever physical effort we're making to the energy body. Be patient, that takes time. But keep going, just 5 breaths. Inhale, open, exhale. And if your muscles are involved, that's fine. That's how you begin doing this. And once you've made 5 breaths, rest. Your attention stays with perineum, though. So more is not necessarily better. This practice is 3 sets of 5 breaths each. The first one, I gave you very little instruction. It's kind of where we bring our mind, our intention to the practice. Now we want to move away from that mind. Again, takes a bit of time, but we want to have our breath lead the way. So as I inhale, my perineum opens. And that gentle pressure we exercise with each exhale helps me squeeze my perineum. My focus is on my breath. 4 more breaths. And done with 5, stay with your perineum. We say rest, that means your breath returns to its natural cadence, not manipulating it. And the last of the 3, the perineum leads, the least, I guess, intuitive. But the perineum opens and that draws in my inhale. My perineum squeezes, it inspires my exhale. 4 more. When done, rest, staying with your perineum, smiling with your perineum. So 20, 40, 100 times, it's not helpful. However, if you feel like, I think I am leaking chi, you might do this 3 times a day instead of once. What we're trying to achieve is several things, really: a relationship, a connection between you, your consciousness, awareness, and your perineum. Shifting, as I said before, from any physical effort to a very subtle energy body movement, which also cultivates a deeper relationship between you and your body. And lastly is we want a resilient perineum. We don't think of that. We don't think of the perineum that way. So we might need to use a little imagination, at least in the beginning. One thing that came to my mind as an image that might help is if you see or you feel you're very sick and your mouth, maybe you're congested also, but your mouth is just like hanging open. There's no resilience to the muscles, to the lips. But when you're healthy, of course, your mouth is closed unless you're talking, you're clear. So there's a resilience or a snappiness to the whole musculature of your face. We want to achieve that with the energetic body of the and the perineum. I'll tell my story about my teacher who taught me this. Uh, he really focuses on the smile. And I think it's good because we can get really serious, especially if we think, oh my God, I'm losing my chi. I have to fix this. Smiling as you're doing it, smiling into the perineum. So he basically says, smile and do your perineum breathe. You can do it standing in line at the grocery store, waiting for your tea water to boil, whenever, waiting for the subway. You can do it when you're involved in a conversation where you're not really interested. You don't really have to be there mentally. And I caught him. I organize his retreats for him. So I'm telling him this boring stuff, and he's smiling and nodding. And I said, you're doing your perineum breathing, aren't you? It's better if we can be fully present all the time, but slip it in. It's so important. With no questions, we're going to start moving. And we're going to do a couple from this Qigong called circulation set, which is wonderful to do in the morning. You won't do the whole thing, but basically it's the idea of helping our body circulate the 3/5 of blood that is in our body below our waist. It circulates our lymph and it circulates our chi. We start by bringing our weight to the front of our foot, ball and toes, and to our heel. And if that feels good, you can lift your toes and lift your heel. When I teach this, I always tell the story, the fact that in Chinese medicine, they believe we have 3 hearts: the automatic heart here and the manual hearts, one in each calf. So we need to move our calf muscles to help all of these things circulate: blood, lymph, and chi. So this back and forth, if you only do this, you're activating your calf muscles and you're helping that circulation. We want to do a little more though. So we're going to add our hips. So when our weight is on our heel, we push our rear out so we don't bend here. It's almost like a hinging. And when our weight is on our toes, we push our hips out. And 3 to 5 times of each of the levels we're going to do is plenty. Then we want to add the waist. We keep the hips and keep the feet, but now we push our waist back as well as our hips. So we're opening Ming Men, the mid back, and then pushing out like Santa Claus or pretending to be pregnant. Both of them. And you notice I skipped the knees. Uh, the knees are actually treated with a lot more care in Qigong than they might be in Western athletics. You can even lock your knees as you're coming forward, which will help your balance as long as you soften that your weight is back. So then the next is the chest. And that one's easy. All we do is watch our thumbs. We turn our thumbs out, opens our chest. We turn our thumbs back, and everything is curled and closed. Allow your breath to do what it wants, and it will be doing the right thing. Obviously, you're going to inhale as you open, exhale as you curl. And the last is the neck and head. So as your thumbs are out, you look up. You're not craning, you're not resisting, just look up. It's good enough. When your thumbs are back and you're curled, you look down. This is, you may want to keep heels and toes on the floor if it's too much for your balance the first time you're doing it, but it's also great cultivation of balance to maintain that lifting. And I am not counting because I'm talking, but everything 3 to 5. And then stand and be in your body. So after each segment of a Qigong, whether we're doing it tonight or in your other practices, pause and observe being in your body. This is the type of meditation, or it's when they say move, massage, and meditate, this observation is the meditation they're talking about. That's called a lymph movement or lymph swing. Next is bone throwing. I didn't mention it, but next week and after, I'll have a second camera so you can see my feet as well. But tonight, we're going to make do. And the first movement is sweeping the floor with your feet. So it's like this, lazy. The instruction with this one in particular is be lazy and add your hands. And then a little more intention, leg higher, hand higher. And then go behind you. So sweep, same, across the body, but behind. And the arm goes behind as well. And then a little higher. And a little lower. Come back to standing and observing. The last of the set that we'll do is kicking. So lift your leg and kick. Come back and come down. precise, but relaxed and again lazy. Don't worry about the foot 3 times each side, straight in front of you. Then point the toe. And if you point the toe and hold it, you will feel activation. Feels like a stretch. You're also activating the meridians on the front of your leg. And then with your heel, which same thing, you'll feel the stretch up the back, activating those meridians. Then across the body, but kicking rather than brushing. Toes. Toes meaning point your toes. Heel. And then up to the side. Point your toes out to the side. Point your heel. Good. And then backward, like a donkey. The general kick with toes. With heel. And then across your body and back. With your toe. With your heel. And come back to your center. Oh, let's do one more. Twisting and slapping. So we start out with that lazy, just flop your arms. Your dantian, which is your center of gravity, is the engine to this. So I'm not doing this, I'm doing this. And wherever you slap your body is fine. The slapping, hitting is a very useful tool in Qigong. More useful when we target. So let's do, this is the kind of the just above the waist, liver, pancreas, stomach, and spleen. So when we come around front, hit, and in back, we want to be hitting the kidneys. Well, if it's uncomfortable, you're hitting yourself too hard. But you should have your abdomen muscles engaged so that they're kind of like a drum. So you're making vibration, not impact on the organ. And then working your way up your body. So women, do not strike your breasts, skip over them and go up to lung 2, and then come back. You go as high in your back as you can comfortably go. And just so this is in your head, in your brain, we've been doing this or this. You can also make a very soft fist. Like it's not even a fist, you're just closing your fingers and making sure your thumb is to the side. So let's do the liver, stomach line, and the kidneys. So it's here. Make sure that you engage your abdomen. And then go down to the hips and the sacrum. And slowly come to center. observing. Most people, that's unusual attention to give to your body. It may be giving you some feedback, feeling tingly, feeling warm, in pain, saying, stop it, don't ever do that to me again. I hope not, but good. So we have warmed our body up. I wish there was another word for that. It's really more about releasing the fluids and circulation, but we also do feel warm. And we've learned, and hopefully we'll continue to practice with our perineum. Now we need to pay attention to clearing things that are stagnant, stale, stuck. Well, one view in Chinese medicine is stagnant qi is the cause of so much illness. You can have murky qi or disrupted qi as long as it keeps moving, hopefully moving out of your body. But everything needs to be digested, moving, circulating. And if it gets stuck, an issue most likely will be arising. The one I like, we're going to do a couple of iron shirt Qigong. The one I like the best for this is the phoenix cleans its feathers. So you can stand well, but a little deeper posture is even better because you want to be in touch with the earth and grounded. You can even go into, which I'm only going to go for a minute, into a horse stance. The deep depth of your horse stance isn't about flexibility, it's about strength. And can you maintain this depth while you're doing other things? So be conservative. If you think, oh, I can do this, come up a little bit. But still be open. Feet are strongly connected to the earth. And the first thing we're going to do is fuel ourselves with breath and qi in order to do this cleansing or cleaning really well. We do that with a Kapalabhati breath, fire breath. So since we're standing, the first thing is you see my hands. This is my dantian. Under no circumstances should your palms, your hands be above your dantian. So go it as low as you can. Soften your elbows, open your armpits, and soften your wrists. So if we have pinched joints, locked joints, qi will not flow. So find that posture. Tailbone, earth, round to heaven, tongue touching upper palate. Since we're standing, we only use intention or call it a kind of force to exhale. We relax and open, air comes in. So it's like, I'll do it through my mouth so you can hear it better. It's like, but we do it through our nose, very important. Feeling into your structure, your posture, feeling into connecting to the earth. Take a full breath to begin. And I'll do this when I want you to complete the Kapalabhati. We hold and empty lungs at that point, and you just follow me. Big breath in. One third inhale. Second, third, third. We'll make the lung sound, S sound. One third in, second, third. Last. And then kidney sound, cho. Feet go out, hands go out, tongue goes out, eyes look up. So we're going to do it 2 more times so I can do all 6 of the sounds, but let me remind you what we're actually doing. We are exhaling with the Kapalabhati. Internally, we're pulling up our perineum. Our diaphragm is naturally pressing down. Ideally, you also pull your abdomen in, and the instruction is you also pull your kidneys in. So all directions, you're compressing your dantian. And then when air comes in, relax, your dantian is relaxed. The idea being you compress the chi that's there, you open, fresh chi comes in, press that, more chi. Like stoking a fire. There's a lot of cauldron and fire stuff in more advanced Qigong. This is related to that. Excuse me. So we've got this fire going, we've fueled ourselves, we're grounded, and we're going to use it to clear our chi field in two directions. This one, you think about maybe having a bar or a scraper connecting your fingers and you're scraping up vertically and then releasing it into the ether, giving it back to the earth. You will use it for good purpose. Then we clear in this way, but ideally we could be octopi, octopuses, and pull in from all directions and then down to the earth. So that's our clearing. This last is connecting. So we have three dantian, lower, middle, and upper. And it's not that different from our Western ideas. The lower is survival, gut instinct, and kind of our deeper, older wisdom. Heart, our emotions, our love, our anxiety in this dantian. This is our one, in some writings, it's our intellect, our consciousness, and others, it's our spirit. But regardless of the variation, we want all three to be connected and working together. This is sexual energy through those three dantian and out the tongue. So connecting them. The imagery is counterintuitive, but for women, the vaginal or vaginal energy up and out. For men, the penis is actually turned inside out, up and out. That's tricky. Don't worry about it. Just think of energy from your deep self and connecting outward. Any questions before we do the other two? We would normally spend an entire class on this. So just know that I'm throwing a lot at you so you can enjoy it. And the more you do something, the better understanding, both physically and mentally. So back into whatever grounded posture you had. We'll do three. Yeah, we have time. So we'll do the two we did, and we'll do two sounds we did, and then we'll do the four other sounds. These 6 sounds are very old, very powerful, very healing. Yeah, another class. So here, even lift your toes and grab the floor, further ground yourself. Take air in and empty, empty, empty. S sound for the lungs. O sound for the kidneys. Empty, empty, completely empty, empty more. Kick and brush. And back into our take air in Liver sound, SH. Heart sound, ha. Mean it. Completely empty your lung and then empty them more. Rush and kick. Last one. And if you're getting hyper or hypoventilated, skip this part, just a more natural deep breath, but know that you'll work toward this more rigorous breathing to begin. Take air in. Lean sound, guttural, tiger growl. And he sound. And kick. Any questions about this one? In the full iron short set, I think there's 7 or 8. The majority of them are rigorous. They're challenging you in some way. These we will do iron shirt in the summer series. So we're going to, this isn't iron shirt, but it's certainly of iron shirt feeling. It's called dragon and phoenix breathing. And this is where we really, in a yang, strong manner, bring chi in. So once again, you need a grounded posture. And we work with our 3 dantians. We bring chi to all of them. The first one is, well, for all of them, think about reaching out and gathering, like gathering cotton or gathering cloud or something soft but material, right? And we're going to move through it first because I can't do it in talk. So we do this here. We hold our breath. Large breath, we hold it. And as we're holding our breath, we're not just hanging out holding our breath. Intention is extremely powerful. We have the intention of mixing this fresh, we can call it atmospheric or ether chi with our chi. So they're bonding, kind of refreshing what we already have in the lower part of our body. Tongue stays on the upper palate the whole time. You can even roll it back. That's one variant. And then as we exhale, tongue stays. We exhale through our mouth, and you notice I'm pretty almost straightening all my limbs. And then I do the same thing for my middle dantian, my heart center. And we're holding and blending. And then last one, upper dantian. And this one, it's very important that you don't want the feeling of anything left in your head, pressure, headache, heat. If we'll do it, I think, just to be on the safe side, but very powerful porosity, connect with your head and draw down. So I'm brushing between others, but this one, a little more focused, a little more powerful. And you have a choice of drawing it down to your dantian, but if you're not super skillful, it's just better to draw it back to the earth. Anything in the head, don't want it to stay. So let's go ahead and do that. Round. Empty your lungs. big, abundant gathering breath. Hold your breath. Tongue on upper palate. Exhale. So when you practice this alone, the instruction is hold your breath as long as you can and a little bit longer. Empty. Inhale. Heart. Upper dantian. Down. Brushing or drawing. Stepping. A little bit longer. We'll do this one more time, maybe twice more. Never more than 3 times. And once is for many people enough. But always allow your blood gases to regulate between. So you wouldn't do 1, 2, 3. You do 1 day, 2, etc. Reground. Inhale, gather. Lung on upper palate. Inhale. Upper dantian. Down. Last time. If you're feeling lightheaded, even after a little rest, do the gathering, hold, and return to natural breath. You'll have the intention of mixing qi and your qi, but I don't want to have you all in little boxes. I don't want to see anybody go whoop. That would not be good. No falling over, please. Reground. Gather. Upper dantian. So yes, step and brush, but then stay and observe. So the last of these vigorous Qigong, also from Iron Shirt, called Iron Bridge. And this one isn't as difficult as some of the others from Iron Shirt. It is really the namesake in a way because we are drawing up earth chi into the fascia of our body. And then with a glottal exhale, like we're pressing it into our fascia. We're doing our front panel and then our back panel a couple times each. This is described as cultivating your Wei Qi field, which is kind of like the Qi field right around you. What I think people are seeing when they have the ability to see an aura. It's pretty close to us, though. It shouldn't. Your aura is this big. If your Wei Qi field's this big, you need to do some maintenance. Um, and in medical Qigong, the Wei Qi field is our first immune, let's call it a tool. But then underneath our skin is our fascia, and that is also considered a boundary protection and an immune tool. So basically, we use this mudra and let me demonstrate, I think easier than trying to describe. Similar to the phoenix and dragon, we are inhaling and gathering chi, but this time we are gathering chi to our kidneys and we're holding the mudra over our kidneys. So I'm not touching, I'm basically in the Wei Qi, in my Wei Qi. And I lean back. It's not a back bend. It's not for flexibility. It's to help me feel my fascia. So only as far back as I start to feel that subtle stretch. So even if you're very flexible, that's in the tendons and joints. We want to feel the fascia. And the neck is open, but don't let your head flop. So mudra, gather to the kidneys and inhale, drawing up like a thick woolly blanket of the earth's chi. And as I exhale, I press that woolly blanket flat into my fascia. 3 breaths is good. Inhale up, thick blanket. Once more. And I come to upright. I keep my mudra. Let my spine reset. Then I'm going to bend forward. And because we bend forward so much, it's harder to feel our fascia. But sensitizing yourself over time, you can certainly bring your intention there and your attention there. But the same thing, bend over, activate the fascia. Inhale, a thick woolly blanket up the back of your legs, over your back, even the back of your arms, the back of your head. Press it in. Third one. And because Qigong is so efficient, since we're already down here, let's gather up some fresh earth Qi. So you're running your hands through the Qi field like you're gathering soil. And you're bringing that up your back of your legs, your kidneys. And then thumb to your dantian also. Good. So that practice, we have started the cultivation of integument, really, right? Our perineum. We're making our perineum tend to be closed, be resilient, snappy. Then we have cleared our stale, crappy energy that we've been carrying around, but we can't use with the phoenix and cleans its feathers. We've brought in fresh chi, atmospheric chi, chi from the earth, whatever's available is good energy. And then we have further strengthened our integument, really, right? Our immune system, our Wei Qi field with the iron shirt, iron bridge. Yeah. So we're going to do standing practice. Most people know standing, embrace the tree. There are actually many variations. The first one, we're going to do two. The first one is from Chen Tai Chi, actually, in the olden days when I'm looking for my picture. But uh, we do the same thing, stand well. And once again, you can go deep into a horse stance, but no narrower than your hips or your shoulders. We want to make our feet parallel. And for women in particular, you may need to use a little muscle to press your knees out so that your kneecaps, your patellas are over your feet and not collapsing inward. Whatever the structure of our legs and our hips, we're more prone to that than men are. And sink your tailbone, engage your abdomen, gently tucking your chin so your crown points to heaven. Now your heart may be a little forward, so let's inhale into our hearts. As we exhale, let them nestle into the center of our body. Do that again. Inhale, exhale. So before we start doing variations, we need to get our central panel, our center, really well situated. Bring your attention to your crown. Visualize cord, a silken cord connecting your crown to heaven is the description. And relax. You can relax off that cord. You don't have to hold yourself up. Heaven holds you. Now shorten your cord 1 inch. More spacious spine, less weight into your hips, and smile. And raise your arms. So the classical each one is with the fingertips toward each other. I want you to keep your palms down because this practice is called standing as if in water. So visualize yourself, feel that you're in water up to about this level and your arms, your hands are just floating on top. They become really effortless. And there's even less effort holding your body upright because the water holds you. But we want alive water. So there's subtle movement as the water moves us, left, right, front, back. Very subtle. If the water were perfectly still, it would not be alive. And it would start to become fetid. That's the last thing we want, right? Just close your eyes and be held with the water. And then turn your palms so that they are facing each other. Extend your index fingers to the center of the universe. Connect your long fingers to each other, completing that circle. Turn your ring fingers back toward your heart. Connect those fingers to your heart. Connect your thumb upward to heaven and your pinky fingers downward to earth. So again, index fingers outward to the center of the universe. Long fingers complete the circle. They point toward each other. Ring fingers bend and point to your heart. Thumbs point up to heaven. And pinky connects to the earth. And stay. This is the first movement from mystical warrior Qigong. Be nice to stay in this quite a long time, but I only have you for a few more minutes. So let's relax our fingers, turn hands outward and open our standing posture. Up and out. Kick your feet, and shake your hands, and come back to your seat. Questions? So, yes, Aaron.
Yes, during the dragon phoenix breath, during the exhale, is that with the sound and is it mostly exhaling through the mouth?
Yeah. So you're not making a sound, but a sound gets made. The tongue is secure on the upper palate. So the image is the instruction, the detail is you're exhaling out the sides and the air is actually, I guess that's the dragon, right? So you end up making a sound, but if it doesn't happen, this is more important than whatever sound is. Great. Any other questions? Okay. I will show you an image, the microcosmic orbit. I want us to do it, so I'm not going to go into detail. Know that when I have more time, I spend a lot of time leading you through energy center to energy center, making sure you have the tools to open them. If you've practiced this a lot, they may or may not be open. You know, we have bad days. Some of our reactions to bad days are to punch. So it's nice to have those tools, even if we're experienced. These are beautiful drawings by Wan Li. This is the conception vessel. Ren Mai is the governing vessel, or Du Mai. You see the little dots, those are energy centers. And basically, something a little clearer, we have this orbit in our body, which is not a meridian. So it's a little more flexible. It can do more stuff. And what we do is we circulate our attention And we use a pearl to help us focus through this orbit. Traditionally, the first direction is up the back and down the front. Today, we're going to do the lower body, called the saddle orbit. We're going to do the saddle orbit, and I will lead you, not only because we have a couple people here that I don't know who may or may not have experience with this, but the saddle orbit is a wonderful way to shore up your resources, right? Winter is about conservation. If you have an orbit around your dantian, including your perineum, and in the back, yeah, I'll show you the image again so this makes more sense. This little spot in the back, Ming Men, is between our kidneys, and it's a very important point. So the navel connects to the dantian. We have this is from my ovarian kung fu class, but this is also called the sexual palace. And it's right above the pubic bone in both women and men. Sacrum, perineum. So these centers are all so important in our survival, in our basic well-being. And that's what we want to focus on at least part of our time in the winter. Anyone have questions about this? We're going to do it. And then you'll have the video to do it over and over again. So the saddle orbit is what we'll do today. There is the full orbit all the way up to the crown and back down. It's the classical microcosmic orbit. And because this is a winter class, we're also going to do a variation where we bathe our kidneys in this life force energy. So, sit well. It's like standing well. We want to sit well. We want our feet. So many people have trained meditation cross-legged. If not being cross-legged will be a distraction, go ahead and do it. But in Chinese meditation, the feet on the earth is very important. Let's say in that. And then feeling the perineum, the sits bones on the chair, connecting to earth that way also. Not leaking, connecting. So find your sits bones on your chair. Find the floor, the earth with the soles of your feet. Place your shoulders, the big weight of your shoulders over the big weight of your hips. So if you have a tendency to go forward, try and come back, and the opposite also. Come forward from your chair. Don't lean back. Once again, doing that subtle tucking of your chin so your crown can connect to heaven. Tongue is on the upper palate. So these vessels, the one up the back is for yang energy. The one down the front is for yin energy. They're not connected. This is important because, say, they were connected, you might end up with a yin-yang swamp when they're trying to change over. So there's very clear distinction. The perineum is one place where they almost connect, hops over, and that keeps it clear. And the hopping actually, I think, energizes the flow. The other place is the governing, Dumai ends in the roof of your mouth. And Renmai starts the tip of your tongue. So try and keep the tip of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth. Where exactly, don't worry about. In this meditation, the body corrects. Okay, so we're sitting well. Take a couple of breaths and feel yourself sitting well, enjoying it. coalesce your attention in your belly and your dantian. Use your inner vision and see it, and use your kinesthetic sense and feel it. It's connecting. And keeping most of your attention there, but then send it out also and be aware that you are sitting in an abundant field of life force energy. We accept that we have an atmosphere that we breathe. We can't see it, hopefully. We trust it's there. We also have this abundant field of life force energy. Inhale, you can see it as golden mist or golden light and fill your whole body with it. As you exhale, draw that golden mist into your dantian and exhale out. Inhale, filling your body with that golden mist. Exhale out. You can exhale out grayness, encouraging your body to release anything not useful as you pull that chi into your dantian. A couple of breaths on your own. Good. Now reach deep inside yourself and draw up into the center of your dantian a beautiful luminescent pearl and hold it there. Inhale that golden light directly into your dantian, filling it, expanding it. And as you exhale, use that gentle pressure created to help the pearl soak up that golden light, saturating your pearl with fresh chi. See it might get larger, might glow more brightly, might simply be more easily seen in your mind's eye. Beautiful. Inhale into the pearl itself. And as you exhale, draw the pearl downward to your perineum and hold it there. Take a breath in and out of your perineum and in and out of the pearl. Inhale, draw the pearl back over your tailbone and up your sacrum. Hold the pearl there. Feel free to tap on your sacrum if you're not sure where it might be. You can tap on any of these centers. Inhale into the pearl and draw it up to Ming Men on your spine at the level of your natural waist. Breathe in and out of that center. Inhale into the pearl. Exhale and draw it through your body to your navel. Breathe there. Inhale into the pearl and exhale it down to sexual center. Center front, right above your pubic bone. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale the pearl back to your perineum. You're going to do the same pathway, simplifying it a little bit. Inhale into the pearl. Exhale, draw it back over the tailbone through sacrum up to Ming Men. Take a breath there. Exhale, drawing the pearl through your body to your navel. Take a breath there. And exhale the pearl back to perineum. A little simpler. Inhale, pearl goes from perineum to Mingmen. Exhale the pearl through your body. Inhale, navel to perineum. And pause there. Take a breath. One more time. Inhale the pearl from perineum to Mingmen. Exhale through the body. Inhale back to perineum. Inhale, bring the pearl to Mingmen. Exhale through your body. Take an inhale, but with the exhale, release the pearl into this pathway. You don't have to stop at each center. It doesn't have to be connected to your breath. If you get distracted or you lose the pearl, bring your attention to your navel and reconjure the pearl and set it into the orbit again. Two more times around. The next time your pearl is at your navel, hold it there. Just stay with your pearl at the navel, allowing the flow of chi to settle down a bit. Then inhale into your pearl. Exhale, drawing it in and slightly downward, returning it to your dantian. Feel it settling into your dantian. We're going to stack our palms. So not touching, and I want to be precise. One Lao Gong over the other, and both over the navel to begin. And keep them that way so we don't get loose about it. We're using the power of our Lao Gong porosity. We're going to spiral. Let's start counterclockwise and visualize a vortex, like water going down a drain. And this vortex is pulling in any chi that I may have loosened without noticing into my dantian. Lower dantian is the place to store bodily chi. Just a few times, and then reverse the direction. And then the hands can go onto your body, still stacked. Let's close our meditation by circling up to heaven's yang chi, drawing it through us to the earth, gifting it to the earth, sunlight, moonlight, and starlight, the three treasures of heaven. So I asked you And interrupt me if you have questions. I asked you to have some water in a small cup. There are many water rituals. This one is from Universal Healing Tao. And the word healing is central to Universal Healing Tao. Most of the practices are about healing ourselves, which is essential, right? We heal ourselves, it radiates outward, but sometimes more than us needs to heal. So I have this glass, I'm not sure I can do it. You basically hold your middle two fingers down to form a little table, and then you hold the glass with your index, your pinky, and your thumb. I'm going to do this also because this glass is a poor choice, a little big. And the first thing you do is connect with this water more intentionally. You know, we're always slugging water out of bottles, out of cups, in our coffee, in our tea. This water could be 35,000 years old. We have a semi-closed system. So water soaks into the earth, flows in rivers to the ocean. It's evaporated into clouds. It rains back down, but it's been here a long time. Can even go so far as to enjoy creating a biography for this little glass of water. But my little glass of water was once part of the Arctic snow, and it broke off into the ocean, traveled down the Atlantic, made it all the way to the equator before evaporating and raining down on, I guess it would be the New York aquifer, right? To end up here. That's like us, water, even though it's been sterilized and filtered and everything, energetically has very positive parts and maybe carrying a little baggage, energetic baggage. So we use this mudra, a chi knife, which we use for cutting energy. And that's not an act of violence, it's an act of opening. So we just make a grid, like the simplest grid, cut, 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 to open the energy of the water, and we grasp whatever we don't need, anything old, stale, and we return it to the earth several times. Really use your intention. And then open hand upward and request for ourselves whatever we might need. We don't need to know, and we put that into the water. And then we drink, feeling it go all the way into our center, into our dantian. Tonight, I would ask you not to drink all of it. 2 or 3 sips. And this is, you can see in his books, Mantak Chia demonstrating that exact. Yes, it's a ritual, I'm not sure, an energetic practice. This water is also the earth, of the whole earth. And the earth is in pain on a variety of levels. So however you wish to express that, we return word and ask for peace, for love, for the opposite of pollution, clarity. And our little piece of water, putting that in not only for us, but for everyone everywhere who might need it. And we don't need to drink it. We've nourished ourselves already. You can put the water with this intention and wish on your altar. You can feed your plants with, feed your pets, but more likely outward than inward. Water ritual because that's the element of winter, but there's so many aspects of working with our water. Any questions?